Meron? Ano nga ba ang meron? Paano nga bang mabuhay ng tapat sa meron? Don't you wish you can relive your philo classes? The terror teachers? The terrible oral exams? Or the even terrifying but liberating and life-changing aha moments? Lundagin Mo Beybeh! Here's your chance! Lundagin Mo Beybeh! Kasama ang mga pilosopong sina Jovi Miroy at Ron Capinding. Lundagin Mo Beybeh! Leaping upward, leaping forward. Lundagin Mo Beybeh! Leaping to greater heights, to greater wisdom, to greater magis. Lundag na Ateneo!
Ay, magandang hapon po sa aming mga tagapakinig.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
Yes. Nandito na naman po tayo sa ating programa ng Lundagin Mo Beybeh. Kasama natin si Sir Jovi. At meron po tayong may mga bisita tayo ngayon na talaga pati kami ni Sir Jovi excited pakilala sa inyo.
Oh, parang ano tayo. Hindi mo naman shinare yata doon sa TA group. Sinabi mo ba sa TA group ang ating Aluminaries?
Hindi. Anyway, i-share ko pagkatapos. Pagdalang silang currently, ha? Marami naman, usually yung ating readership at listenership dumadami after the program, hindi during the program. Yes, nandito po kami ngayon. Wala na kaming masyadong gagawing bate at mga so namin magamit yung buong panahon namin para pakinggan ang ating mga bisita. So ang aming paksa or title namin sa program namin ito ay...
I think we have to speak in English. We have to speak in English.
No.
Ron.
Why?
We might get lost in translation.
No.
Are you ready,
Pwede
Ron?
English, pwede mag-Filipino. What? What do you mean?
So,
No.
I
So,
want to introduce... Wait, what is our title first? What's the title?
yun na lang. Our title for this show is Aluminaries. So, nagsama-samang alumni, luminaries, and of course, they are alumni of Ateneo. At alam mo naman ang Ateneo, we're so aligned with the Lux in Domino motto of the school. So, light. So, and then, of course, our will always like show, shed some light in whatever darkness we are in. So, Aluminary sa amin pamagat. Aming subtitle doon ay Kasama sina Celeste Bueno at Marlon Rivera.
Because our guests are real luminaries.
Yes. Yeah. Feeling ko, nung sinabi ko Celeste Bueno, may isang grupo na nag-yehey! At nung sinabi ko Marlon Rivera, may kabilang grupo na nag-yehey. So, nandito po sila, si Miss Celeste Bueno at si Mr. Marlon Rivera. It's just the name pa lang, ha? Maraming salamat sa inyong pagpapaunlak. Sir, just can I say applause? Woo! Yeah.
Thank you for inviting us.
Nice.
Yeah. Si Miss Celeste Bueno, we are with her habang gabi ngayon sa Italy. Italy ba ngayon o Germany?
No, it's 11 a.m.
Hindi kami kayo sa Italy.
Oo nga, nakasama natin siya.
What time is it in Italy?
Huh? Sorry?
What time is it in Italy?
It's 11 a.m., so it's in the morning. You are 6 hours ahead.
Yes.
Okay, sa Italy.
In Parañaque, it's
Why did I say
5:17.
Germany? Because that was your first set.
Yeah, Stuttgart, di ba?
Yeah, Germany. I left Germany in 2003. I went to Germany in 1994 to do Miss Saigon. I was in the original German production. And actually, I'm still on a high because last night we just had a virtual canteen concert with about 120 from the cast and crew of Miss Saigon, Germany, and it was like 3 hours of singing and laughing and crying, and it was just such an emotional, wonderful experience because I think that time in our lives when you are young and doing theater and getting paid lots of money to do that, I mean, the time of our lives, and so there were so many wonderful.
How long were you in the cast of Sigon?
Sorry.
Yeah.
How long were you?
How long were you?
It was. I was there for 5 years. So we did 8 shows a week for
Wow.
5 years. The capacity of the theater was like 1,600, 1,800.
Wow.
For the first 2 years, we were sold out.
Yeah.
And it was all in German. I mean, you wouldn't think, English speaking people cannot come in like Broadway or London and watch the show.
So you had to learn. You had to learn, German, Celeste.
Yes, part of the auditions. The auditions was in Manila. There were about 750 people auditioning. It was like a week-long audition. And the last part of the audition, after you have to dance and you get cut, you have to dance again, you get cut, you sing. You finally get to the last part, which is German phonetics. So they try to find out if you can, kind of like German phonetics. Well, I don't know if it helped. I had a German boyfriend then. Anyway, and then there were 23
Among many boyfriends.
23.
3 Filipinos.
Of a cast of 53.
3 Filipinas.
So it was a big cast because we also had to have swings because you have
23 or 50.
It's funny we didn't cross each other's paths when I was in Belgium, when I was studying in Belgium.
I don't know because hindi pa ka masyadong uso yung Facebook. So there are a lot of people who had come and gone. It's really didn't know I was there. And even here, when I'm in Italy, people are, I see that people have been here, around here. It's like, "Oi, you're here. I'm here."
Yep.
So what now? I mean, it's so amazing. With our technology, we know where everybody is. Well,
True.
Yes, we're so glad to have you. So we see Marlon there. Marlon is, of course, my company manager, our company manager, and then he was the director of Baeza Septic Tank and the many
Septic Tank
created films, and he was in the ad world for a long time, and we just attended this class. You see, I'm a good model for students. I am now attending online classes.
Yes.
Myself.
At ako rin. I just
Yep.
attended his class. It was in this whole quarantine time, one of the most enlightening moments of my
Salamat sa pagdalo. Yes, guys. So nice
And the
to see you
title was
again,
ano,
guys.
Brace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And
nice
the
to see you
title was
again.
the Brace.
Yeah, it was about brainstorming. Yes.
Yeah.
For everyone who don't know yet, so ako si Jovi at si Celeste were batch 87 sa Ateneo. Yes, Jovi was philo and then kami ni Celeste sa Perform Arts. And then nagkakilala kami lahat, of course, also sa teatro, sa Tanghalang Ateneo. So doon kami nagkita-kita, nagkasama-sama.
Mamaya papaiyakin ko si Celeste.
Huwag kang ganon.
Remind her of something. Celeste,
So yun.
do you know who is celebrating his birthday in a few days?
Who?
Who?
RJ.
Oh my God.
Oo nga, no? Yeah, okay.
I was actually going through, what you do actually now during the pandemic. I don't know if you've been doing the same thing, is clean out your cupboards, clean out your whatever, post photos that you haven't seen, suddenly it comes out, and one of those things that came out was RJ. And because I was supposed to come to Manila in March for a month, and I was getting in touch with Lundagin Joseph in Tanghalang Filipino, where RJ and I continued after Tanghalang Ateneo in the season. And I was actually going to go and visit his urn with him. Ako, maiyak na ako niyan.
Mamaya pa naman yun. But anyway, Marlon, continue your story.
Teka ha. ano bang story? Parang,
Yeah. Ako naman, nakilala ko silang lahat.
Reminiscences lang naman. And then for the next part, we'll talk about how you reinvented yourselves because we were talking about that in the group chat, di ba? You are masters of reinvention. So maybe that's what we need to learn again in this.
Madonna, yes.
Yeah. So Madonna, not the religious one.
Madonna.
Reminisce muna tayo, Marlon.
Sige.
Kwento mo tungkol sa PA.
Kasi nung kasi medyo siyempre nung college ka, di ba, wala ka pa namang ibang kagrupo, di ba? Hindi mo lang galing sa Ateneo High School. So, naghanap ko ng mga katribo mo, di ba? So, natagpuan ko yun sa mga weird na mga tao. Una sa Filipino class talaga. Kasi nandun kami sila Celeste, nandun sila Jan Cabato, ganyan, di ba sila Kia. So, lahat ng mga under Joey o campus class. So, doon medyo marami ng mga kawirduhan na nagaganap, di ba? And Joey is also into theater, di ba? So, next na tribo na nahanap ko, siyempre yung mga ka-blackmates, diba? So, Psych, Pilo, Predid, kami yung parang yung mga pinapiraso sa mga platong walang ka-partners, pinagsama-sama na. Tapos,
so Marlon, konti lang ang com noon. Kasi by the time dumating ako na 1990, mga 2-3 section pa eh. Pero kayo
isa
noon,
lang. Isa lang, 35, 37.
Sinasanib pa kayo sa ibang, merge pa kayo sa ibang maliliit.
Oo, konting-konti lang talaga. Oo. Si Lisa De La Fu, parang isang lit lang. Isang lit na may apat na pre-dip, di ba? So, parang very konti lang talaga. Very konti lang. Sila Jovi, sila Gas, yan ang mga lagi nang magkakasama. Tapos, syempre TA, di ba? Kasi sa TA, pwede ka magtago sa taas, di ba? So, dun sa science building sa Gonzaga 306 dun sa dressing room. So, yun ang parang tribo namin na I mean, your people, di ba? You find your people. So, dun talaga kasi, yes. Si Celeste, of course, different kasi si Com kami, so merong kasa sila. So, diba, ano naman sila, maraming mundo yan eh. Maraming mundo yan, maraming mga paandar. Hexadream, remember? by Manny Amador, di ba?
I also had APA, Ateneo Performing Arts Society.
Yes. So, ang daming, yun na, so nandiyan lang. Ako wala ko masyadong intersect. Doon ako sa Black School. Tapos, kami nila Jovi, nila Gas, nila Owe, and then TA, of course. So, TA talaga yung pinaka-home base ko nung college. Literally doon sa G306 Banyan.
Yeah. I-clarify lang natin sa listeners na Marlon and Celeste, for your information, TA ngayon is more known to mean theater arts because there's already a course, a program of theater arts. So when you say
really?
TA, minsan what people think is the TA is a program under the fine arts, yung theater arts. Pero TA is Tanghalang Ateneo. Yeah, pero TA pa rin ang tawag. Sometimes lang, kailangan it should be very clear what you're talking about. You're referring to Tanghalang Ateneo, the club, the org, which used to be in the third floor of Gonzaga, yung G306, yung banyo ng maliit na theater na nasa third floor, right?
Yep.
Because kanyo nasa iba na, nasa what used to be Colayco Hall. Na meron na ba Colayco Hall?
Rizal.
Wala pa.
Yeah.
Oo.
Meron.
Na hindi na Colayco Hall ngayon, Manny Pangilinan building na kasi lumaki na at lahat. So yun na. So ngayon, ang Tanghalang Ateneo is room is in the Manny Pangilinan building.
Taray! Wala kaming room dati. Di ba? We didn't have a room, di ba, Celeste? Di ba?
I mean, I think that was one of the lovely things about that time. It was like a struggling, lots of misfits in Ateneo, no?
Yep.
And we all found ourselves there.
Yeah.
Somehow,
Yes.
and found acceptance because I mean, I wasn't easy to accept.
Oh yes.
So having said that, instead of asking how was Ateneo then during your time, kaya namin i-research yun sa mga libro eh. Ang tanongin ko na lang, how were you, Marlon and Celeste, during your time? What sort of students were you?
Teka muna.
Because that's interesting. Marami rin kayong mga kilala ng tao and it might be na hindi kayo kilala nung college. So it might be interesting.
Kami yung EDSA batch.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a batch. Actually, the batch. Actually, kami ni Celeste, for example, sa com, amin ko, meron akong D sa Math 11, okay? Pero honestly, okay naman eh. Parang chill lang kami, di ba? Pero si Celeste, ano yun magaling yan parang pumapasok-pasok yan sa mga dean's list sa mga semesters, di ba? So, yeah, parang chill lang, pero ano ba, okay naman yung grade. Medyo hindi kami siya nag-aaral kasi medyo kung nasaan kami natapos. Pero okay naman kasi
si Celeste kasi noon, di ba yung sister niya si Dr.
Agnes.
Agnes, yes.
Agnes.
Sorry,
We
what was
actually
I?
had a more liberal atmosphere then, di ba? Well, comparing it now, even more liberal than now.
What
Yeah.
Sex was more.
During our time, Ateneo was more liberal.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, because now, Celeste, not just Ateneo, pati mga comedy circuits, marami ng politically correct ngayon. Noon, hindi pa kailangan. So now it's more behave. Ingat ka na ngayon.
Maybe we can ask
masyadong-
Celeste how she felt when she entered Ateneo
Me?
at that time.
Well, I was politically, socially, whatever.
Yeah. I don't know. May tatanong ako, Miss Celeste.
And then si Marlon, tatanungin natin about the LGBTQ at that time in Ateneo.
Oh yes. Sige. Celeste, ikaw muna yun.
Yeah.
Ikaw muna, Celeste, how you felt.
So, Celeste,
I told you
ako
this is
magtatanong.
going to be a really long whatever we
Yeah. Para lang ma-direct natin yung tanong kay Celeste. Na-mention ni Jovi about Dr. Agnes Bueno. But honestly, hindi namin kilala si Dr. Agnes. Nauna ko nakilala si Celeste. I don't think it was because of her sister that she's like that.
No.
Ang tanong,
Because I was there first, and before when my sister was becoming popular, a lot of people asked her, "Are you Celeste's sister?" And then she got popular, and then I was being asked,
Are you
Celeste's
yes, exactly.
sister?"
Yeah. So, diretso na para may clear oras natin. Celeste, so even if you were these days regularly, parang nagre-report ka raw palagi dati sa ADSA, so Assistant Dean's Office, or to show what ano ba yun? Gaano katotoo yun?
No, I was called a couple of times. One is because I was wearing my peg shorts considering so I don't know if you need to bleep it, no? But that's what we used to call it.
Yeah.
For me, I mean, the Philippines is a tropical country. I never wore jeans, pants. Ang init eh. I mean, how can you wear all of that? So I was just being, comfortable. And hindi naman ako super peg shorts yung sa labas lang yun. Sa school naman, but I was being called and they said, they showed me the handbook and said, you should wear what is appropriate for school. And I said, what's appropriate? And so I said, I see other girls with shorts, pero hindi masyadong sexy yung dati. Alam, sila nasasita.
True.
And then another time was when I wanted to look at All That Jazz. It was Father Nick's favorite movie, actually, All That Jazz. I was trying to put it into a theater piece. And the dean, Father Bonoan, now I remember.
Yeah.
He kind of stopped me from doing that. We made petitions, etc., but we were stopped from doing that.
Sayang talaga yun.
Yeah.
Tsaka if I may add about Celeste, kasi Celeste also, other people wear the same clothes, no? Pero Celeste kasi is like, inaabangan namin kasi hindi nag-uulit masyado ng damit yan eh. Yung yung parang, semester, iba-iba yung damit niya, iba-iba yung boots niya, yung mga hats, yung mga, so talagang she's confrontational, di ba? So you can't ignore Celeste. If there's one thing you can't ignore Celeste.
Anything, Marlon.
No, I know. Yeah, I know. I say that with candor. Na parang you can't ignore Celeste in campus. kulot pa yung hair, di ba? I mean, so kaya medyo mainit ang mata siguro sa kanya ng mga administration. Pero syempre, celebrated yan si Celeste kasi nga, the fact na siya yung parang nangunguna sa fringe, diba? Sa edge ng mga rules, diba? So yun ang legacy. I think for me, I think that's what I remember about Celeste.
Pero Marlon, in fairness, si Celeste was not just trying to catch attention to herself. She was really talented.
Oh yeah.
Marami sa iso.
They would have loved to kick me out, but they couldn't kick me out because my grades were fine.
At saka, in 1994,
Marlon, what about the LGBTQ atmosphere at that time?
It was very different. It's very different. The only you don't see visible. Kumbaga, a first definition of the LGBTQ, I think wasn't happening that time yet. So everyone was kind of reserved. The fashion also was different. So may mga punk pero parang mukhang punk ngayon. But it's very preppy ang Ateneo, diba? So the dress code is very clear. So konti lang alam mo na parang out as LGBT na sila. Si Enric, ganyan. Isa lang talaga yung medyo halata. I mean, who dresses for her identity. Si John T. Martinez yun, no? Na mahaba yung hair, in a more girly outfit. But otherwise, it was like hindi naman taboo, but it was...
I was obvious.
Oh, he was very passion, diba? Pero hindi naman katulad ni John T talaga na mahaba talaga yung hair, diba? Tapos nakasinglet na ganyan, nakita yung bilid ng chest, diba? So, it was very different. Ibang panahon siya talaga, Jovi, It's not ibang kaalaman, ibang kamalayan. So, I don't think we were repressed. I think it's just that it was just not done, it was just that norm. Parang yun yung kalakaran. So, keep ka rin lang, gano'n. Behave ka lang sa mga friends.
What is it like now? Sorry.
Yeah, Ron, how is it now? I mean, are they more open?
I mean, they are, well, it's really, it's more not permitted, no? It's accepted. It's a phenomenon of they are as even I think sa college, at least sa college na kasi all boys pa yun ng high school. Sa college meron na kaming meron na kaming banyo na parehong gender.
Okay, that's good.
So because tapos we are also I'm part of the administration and we have committees of the president na nag-iisip how to be more a safe and accepting environment in the college. So lahat yan sabay-sabay na consideration yan, yung mental health, pati itong pagiging politically correct, pati itong pagiging accepting of everyone. So hindi lang yan, banyo, pati measures, pati isang teacher na gusto nagta-transition, pwede rin yan, kailangan naming kilalanin. So may mga ganyan. Meron. Nagta-transition. So, and we address that na may paggalang na hindi pwede. And even the students, yan siguro, yung millennials ngayon, they're very sensitive about that. Kahit ako na nagbibiro sa mga anak ko, Dad, you don't do that. Hindi na pwede. Yung mga parokya ni Edgar kind of jokes, mga ganyan, hindi na pwede. So, kailangan, i-call out ka ng mga estudyante. Sila mismo nag-iingat ng gano'n.
Sexism.
Yeah. So we will go on break for a while, no? So that's just around.
That's the answer.
Do we log out? Do we log out for the break? Or?
So I think so.
Yeah. We leave and then we join again using the same ID. No, wag po kayong alis.
So how long do we have? Do we have the message again?
We log on na kaagad. But we'll have a break.
Sorry?
We log out first and then we log on again. And then just wait for it to happen. Okay.
Don't let me log out. I'm going to...
Yeah. Pero ano lang, 1 to 2 minutes lang. Okay?
Okay.
He will cue us. Justin will cue us. But please, don't leave. Huwag niyo kami iwan. Babalik po ang Lundagin Mo Beybeh kasama si Celeste Bueno and Mr. Marlon Rivera.
Salamat. See you in a while.
Salamat. See you in a while.
I won't log out.
You won't log out.
Meron.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll just
Ano
stay
nga ba
here
ang
because I
meron?
don't know if I'll...
Paano nga bang mabuhay ng tapat sa meron? Don't you wish you can relive your philo classes? The terror teachers? The terrible oral exams? Or the even terrifying but liberating and life-changing aha moments? Lundagin Mo Beybeh! Here's your chance! Lundagin Mo Beybeh! Kasama ang mga pilosopong sina Jovi Miroy at Ron Capinding. Lundagin Mo Beybeh! Leaping upward, leaping forward. Lundagin Mo Beybeh! Leaping to greater heights, to greater wisdom, to greater magis. Lundag na Ateneo! Basil Valdez, the Apo Hiking Society, Parokya ni Edgar, Bukas Palad, the Ateneo Glee Club, and many more. All homegrown talents at the Ateneo de Manila University. Get to know the current music environment at the Ateneo. Tune in to Himig Ateneo. Himig Ateneo. Listen to the Blue Eagles sing. Himig Ateneo.
Radyo, 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 Katipunan, radyo, Katipunan, radyo, Katipunan, radyo, 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 Katipunan, radyo, 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 Katipunan. Voice of the Blue Eagle, kami di mapipigil sa pagbabalitang tumpak at tama. Buhay atenista, sa loob sa labas ng eskwela, ating ibibida lahat ng kwela. Radyo, 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 Katipunan, radyo, 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 Katipunan, radyo, radyo, Katipunan, radyo, Katipunan. Kawal ni Ignacio, Katipunero, sugod, todo sa kayod, tulong at tulong, lipat na Blue Eagle, kaning giting nagigil, blue and white, one big fight. Radyo, 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 Katipunan, radyo, 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 Katipunan, radyo, radyo, Katipunan, radyo, Katipunan, radyo, 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 Katipunan, radyo, Katipunan.
Para sa nasa lang
Oh.
ng tubig.
Yeah.
Ay,
Okay,
diba?
we're back.
Diba?
We're back.
Waiting
hello.
po sila tulag.
Thank you po. We're back here in Lundagin Mo Beybeh with our episode Aluminaries with Mr. Marlon Rivera and Miss Celeste Bueno. Si Miss Celeste Bueno, hinihintay natin makabalik. Pero samantala, you were talking about the LGBT community. Yun pala, you were asking me kung kumusta dati. Ayun nga, ngayon kumusta na ngayon? Mas maayos na nga ngayon. Mas may paggalang na, mas may pagkilala na, hindi na kailangan Sabi mo kasi, that was the way to go then. Hindi naman kayo nagpipigil. Yun lang talaga ang kaya na.
Hindi naman.
Oo. Pero ito ngayon, mas marami ng kalayaan ang normal. Dati kasi, hindi naman normal yung mga kalayaang sinasabi natin. Kakaiba yung mga yun. Pero ngayon, yun na. In fact, merong may even orgs, parang non-recognized clubs na talagang sila.
Oh, okay.
Oh. And then
It's
they
good
have
to have
projects, or they have outreach, may mga ganyan. Yeah.
it's good to have that kind of a group group na.
Yeah. Hi, Celeste.
Oh, Celeste.
Welcome back.
She's back.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
ang tanong ni Celeste kanina yung sexism. Kung okay ang
Yes,
LGBTQ ngayon.
malaking issue
Sexism
na
ang-
ngayon yan because of all these sexual harassment cases, sexual abuse, and I wonder if can you talk about it if you ever had an experience like that, Celeste, in college?
Pwede ba yun dito?
Anyway, let's talk about reinventing the self.
No. Actually, ang gusto ko maintindihan, Sir Jovi, through Celeste,
Yeah.
ano yung tinutukoy mong sexism? Na kung prevalent pa ngayon o hindi na?
Well, yung mga remarks na like when there would be hazing and there's death in the hazing and the teachers would discuss it in the classroom, sasabihan yung girls, huwag kayong sumali, hindi nyo ito naiintindihan. Hello?
Oh yeah.
Mga ganon.
Yeah.
I think pati dyan, nagta-transition na rin. Even the high school Di ba meron na kami senior high school? So we have junior and senior high school. What used to be an all-boys high school is now an all-boys junior high school at meron na mga babaeng senior high school. Pero hindi pa college siya. So pati yan, nagugulat din yung mga estudyante naming lalaki when suddenly meron ng babae. Hindi na pala pwede itong wala kang t-shirt. Hindi na siya, it's a man's world. Bigla.
Pwede naman walang t-shirt kung mainit.
Ibig sabihin,
I mean, because,
pag nagbibihis tuwing PE, yung mga biruan tungkol sa mga pabayang biruan nila nung walang mga babae, hindi na pwede yun. Kahit may nakakarinig So, dahan-dahan, I think they're trying to learn and both learn and unlearn a lot of things. So, siguro nasa transition din yung pagiging chauvinistic.
Before Celeste answer, my question talaga about is this. Iba kasi yung letting the environment, fall into place. But meron bang active intentional programs ang Ateneo to really address these things, diba? I mean that it's given space, given time, it's given energy na parang to re-educate or at least to teach how boys, and not just boys but boys and girls, to conduct themselves in society, diba? Is it an active pursuit or is just that bahala na si Batman kung maganap, diba? Ano bang
Nasa junior high school kasi ako yung nanatiling all boys, no? Pero alam ko during that transition na lahat, ang daming pinag-aaralan, even kailangan magbasa ng mga librong Queen Bee. Bakit mga saints na lalaki ang ating section? So lahat na yun, napakadaming kailangan gawing hakbang para maging handa tayo sa pagpasok ng mga babae sa high school. And I'm sure sa college, hindi naman 1970s pa nagkaroon ng babae. So mas matagal na programa na sa kanila yung pero ang meron ngayon siguro, Marlon.
1970s, nagka-girls college. It was not in the 70s when there were women in the university. I think... Di ba 1975,
ganyan, 73, 4? Di ko alam.
Because we came in 1983. And
83.
What I remember is that it was just the beginning of when we had women in Ateneo. If I could just make a comment about that, because Marlon, you were saying something about is there an active program actually tackling that? I directed Vagina Monologues in 2009 and 13 here in Florence, and having been kind of active with that, it's just that during my time, I think there was a lot of sexism going around. Maybe I was not being harassed, confronted, kasi I think they were more intimidated or scared by me. But there were 10 million rumors going around and jokes happening about me. But it's also, I think, one thing that I've also learned, it's not so much the women that you have to educate, no? Because the women, we have been educated to be subservient. We have been educated not to dress in a certain way. We have been educated not to act in a certain way, so that we do not call, things to ourselves. But I think that is wrong. It is the men that have to be educated. The men have to be taught how to treat women. The men, the boys from an early age have to learn how to respect and accept that women are not going to be, the subservient little whatever anymore. I mean,
Yeah.
I think we have to tackle that more than anything.
That's true. D'accord, sabi ka
It's a
naman,
big
friends.
problem in Ateneo. Date
Well,
rape.
it's a big problem all over the world, I think. I mean, it's the society in itself. I mean, we grew up in the Philippines, wherein, men could do certain things and women could not. And I don't know just how prevalent it is there.
Celeste, pero dito sa Ateneo, I think at least the culture of speaking up ay mas mataas na. Talagang hindi na ito tahimik. The culture of calling out, which of course is a double-edged sword din. Kasi minsan, ang hirap din bantayan kung sino yung... is very...
Is that your dog?
Yeah, I know, my
No,
dog's
no.
barking.
Yeah.
Pinalabas ko.
So yun yung yung calling out, napakataas ng culture na yun. In fact, may mga committees na suddenly kailangan i-form just to address complaints and naiaakyat sa administration. Because dati tahimik lang 'tong mga to, ngayon talaga yung culture of calling out, which sabi ko nga is a double-edged sword. Minsan naaabuso rin ganyan. So pero yun nga, if just to give an input dun sa sinabi ni Celeste, hindi ko alam kung gaano kataas na yung ating nagagawa for that direction, pero yun nga, ang culture ngayon ay pumapalag na lahat sa kahit na anong sexism or kahit na anong harassment na nararanasan.
Yeah. Let's talk about reinventing oneself.
Yes, of course.
Forced to reinvent yourself again in the time of the pandemic.
Marlon.
Oh yes. Well, to begin with, parang you don't set out in life thinking that I will reinvent myself all the time.
Yeah.
Hindi naman totoo yan.
It's circumstances that
It's
force
just
you.
circumstance, diba? That forces you to do it. And usually it's about change. I never thought I'd get into advertising. Akala ko punta ako ng teatro, napunta ako sa TV. I work with anong available, diba? You take what's available. And eventually, as you find yourself there, you find people and mentors to push you to do things, to push you to grow very quickly. So, doon ako nang galing. So, duman ako ng makeup, nag-AD, nag-production design, nag-doing ulit, bumalik, nag-designer, ano pinagagawa ko sa buhay. And I think that's and I would like to say this, it's really very, very, I'm very lucky that way. I think it's a privilege as I was able to change into so many roles. Kasi now in this time, everyone's trying to adapt, diba? And for me, my key response is to just work and to do stuff. And now I'm on Zoom every day, trying to share and teach, because I think what will you do? What else will you do, right? That one. I also have an upcoming project that's based on solely the logistics of shooting to be based on Zoom and the technologies. I mean, I am not a techie person, but I just got a go signal for one. No? So tomorrow may pre-prod na ako during Zoom, and then hopefully we can.
Marlon, let's go backtrack a bit. You had a dark time also at some point, no, during the pandemic.
Tea time of the soul, yes, of course. Siyempre kasi sanay ako nasa labas, di ba? And then suddenly you're locked down. I mean, it's a prison, it's a gilded prison. I mean, with your family, obviously, hindi ka naman, meron ka naman makakain, di ba? So, meron ka nung kasing privilege. But the psychological burden of not being able to go out, and as a freelancer, you have this burden of like cash flow, right? I mean, di ba? Kasi parang, hindi mo naman kailangan ka babayaran. Marami kang collectibles pero hindi dumarating, di ba? So, that got to me for a while, for a few days. And then, of course, listening to the news, obviously, di ba? And, listening to the Monday reports. So, medyo merong yung mga dark moments. Parang gusto mo tumakbo, sumigaw ng sisa or basilio, gusto mo ng alak, whatever. But what's good is that I kept myself productive for one. Second is I made a decision. I'll do something and play the long game through this lockdown. Kumbaga, I want to do some changes. I want to be active. I believe that as a communications person na parang walang silbi kami dati kasi batuhan ng mga angkom, di ba? Batuhan ng walang mapuntahan aside from IS. But I decided, that communication, kahit wala kaming specialization before, has a place in what we need to do to change for the future. And I decided to throw myself into that. So I said,
major thing.
I'll play the long game. It's not visible, but I'll play the long game of being involved in whatever shape or form that I can. And it's going to be through communication. So once I made the decision, parang, at least naibsan yung ganung klaseng bigat, diba? Kasi meron kang direction, diba? Hindi ka nagpalugami na lang, diba? Hindi ka na natulog. So, so I made the decision. And it has helped. And of course, the community helps because you do have personal threads, right? You have pockets of friends in your Viber, in your WhatsApp, whatever, in Telegram. So you just have to find a way. And I think, sabi nga ni Jeff Goldblum, life finds a way, di ba? Kasi otherwise, if you don't find a way, then hindi ka na buhay, di ba? So, yun, that's what helped me with because I was depressed for a long time, for 14 years, di ba? Through college and 14 years of my life.
Really? Di ko alam, Marlon.
Alam mo ako, di ba? Magaling ako, di ba? Yeah,
with all that generosity and cheerfulness and maternality.
Oh yes, maternality.
Depressed na ganun.
Yes, wala akong araw na hindi madilim for 14 years. I mean, that was a fact in my life. I not to promote anything of that. I had some dark thoughts. I had some dark moments in my life. And then the good thing is I found work. I found work, and work is what drives me. That's what keeps me. Parang kumbaga, depressed ako sa umaga, pag gising ko pa lang, tapos mag-meeting ako ng 3, pupunta ako sa CR, excuse me lang, iyak muna ako doon, diba? Tapos mag-refreshen up ka, tapos babalik ka sa meeting ulit, tapos tuloy na naman, diba? So having that kind of a stable place to put your headspace in, meaning, I'll give this a few minutes. I'll give myself a few minutes to cry and to be depressed, but I need to go back to work because work needs to be done. So for me, work really became the stable part of my life. So in the same way as I'm doing right now in this lockdown, that's what I'm doing right now. You just have to find the work, and the work, whatever it's God's work, it could be like this work, whatever work it is, you have to find work. It humanizes you, and I think it anchors you. Yun lang yung small dark tea time of the soul the long dark tea time of the soul, but it's gone. That was the 14 years has been done. I just woke up from it and said, you know what, I've been sad for so long, bakit nga ba? And I just woke up one morning, literally one morning, I just counted the years and I said, no, this has to stop. And then that's it. I mean, I'm still kinda in that, I still have it once in a while, but hindi na siya tea time, parang lang siya, parang chicken portion lang siya sa Starbucks. So, you manage it. You manage and endure because that's what we do.
Big hug, Marlon.
Thanks, Celeste. I know Celeste messaged me about
that.
Yeah.
Medyo may pagka-high functioning ako sa
kayong dalawa, Marlon and Celeste. Tingin ko sa inyo talaga para
naman yan si Ron.
Ha? What? Ano?
Schizo ka naman.
Yeah, but si Marlon at si Celeste, in fact, part ng sarili ko sila yung ina-emulate ko kasi very active, very cheerful, pero sila pala, it's very also comforting that they have those dark moments. Si Celeste, I remember her telling me, ewan ko ba? Hindi ko naman sinasadya, sila lang nagsasabi nun. Inamin niya pa nga sa akin, hoy ako isa lang ang naging boyfriend ko at wala akong ganyan. So she was even correcting me kasi there's this image na kala nila, but she's playing around, ganyan. No, parang I don't know. Basta.
Oh no.
So technically,
it's not like that.
Exactly.
Celeste is not like that. Yes, yes. I think it's a yeah. Yes, Celeste. Sige, go Celeste. I was gonna say kasi na parang ano yan, iba yan.
No, I won't go into it. I'm just say a lot of things have happened to me throughout the years, and it's still happening, no. But somehow I was never kind of like where Marlon was. You know, I was never really. I think for me, I think my saving grace is actually living at the moment. I don't project too much. I don't think too much of the future. I don't know if that's good or bad, but for me, somehow, I work best under pressure. I think that's why also, you know, I direct well, or I manage well, because I'm there. You know, and when I tell my kids, it's like I enjoyed every time of my life. You know, I mean, no matter how, you know, sometimes when I was in high school, I was in Marinol High School. No, when I was growing up, I would be walking, and then, you know, the upperclassmen would be shouting at me, "Kikay, Kikay!" You know, I mean, that's how I was growing up. And then I went to Ateneo, and then suddenly it's like, you know, I wanted to go to UP, but I had to go to Ateneo. And suddenly, then everybody was like, even people I knew from Marinol didn't want to hang around with me because they wanted to fit in. And if you hang around with Celeste, you're not going to fit in. So there was always kind of that struggle. But I don't know why. I just had a strong sense of self. I think my thing that goes on in my mind is what my mom always told me. It's like, it doesn't matter what people say as long as what you think you're doing is right. So in that sense, wala akong pakialam sa inyo. And as for reinventing, I had done theater all my life, no? I would do some TV, some whatever, or I would sing, I would do power dance or something. But theater was my constant, you know, throughout these years. I've gone to Japan, I've gone to, you know, all of these places, touring, and then Saigon, and then now here in Italy. When I moved here, I was 5 months pregnant, and I had a 3-year-old. Didn't know anybody, didn't know the language. We didn't really come here for work. Moved here, tried to put up a little shop. That didn't work. So what are we gonna do? I was being a mom for like what 6, 8 years, because I knew how important it was to be present for your children at just such a young age. I think my low time was when I moved here. Biglang buntis ako, so shoot, I have to stay home again. Anyway, the thing that kind of triggered me was when my kids came back from school, and they said, "Oh, what in school?" The teacher said, "What are you? What do your parents do?" And so they would say, "Oh, my dad does this. He does lights, etc." And my mom, "Oh, she cooks, she cleans." And I said, "Teka muna." Sorry. That is a very, very small part of me, and I don't think I want you to think that that's all I do and that's all I am. And so I said, basta. I was living in the countryside, moved into Florence, into the city, found work, and I ended up working at a tour company. And within 6 months, I became the manager. And, you know, I never really worked with computers, so biglang I had to learn it. I still type. I never did typing well. I still type with 2 fingers, but that didn't matter because I somehow had the knack for it. And it was just like directing. I was doing some theater, but it was all kind of like, you know, benefit or, you know, something like, you know. And I said, teka muna, I did that when I was in college. You know, I'm actually a professional. I need to get paid to do this.
Yeah.
Somehow I was also able to kind of also do a bit of theater while I was managing a company. And now I put up my own tour company, Unusual
Oh.
Tourist. So I am co-director and operations manager of that for Italy and France, and any place in Europe. But now we're in the midst of this. No theater. Thank God I actually did a theater right when the lockdown was going to start. Before it, we were 14 actors on stage. And the theater piece was about backstage life in the theater. So that was very nice. But suddenly, no theater and no tourism. I mean, Florence is empty. People are not going to be traveling anytime soon. So what do? I can't go. I can't do theater. There are no tours. I don't think traveling is going to be an option for people for quite a bit of time.
Yeah.
So what am I doing? I mean, at first, you're at home. One thing was to get my family back because my daughter was in a boarding school in Germany. So there was a lot of, problems getting her back here. And then suddenly you're in lockdown. My initial thing was, okay, I mean, luto kain, getting fat. And suddenly you're always on your phone, and I tended to police people's posts. I think did I do that with you, Jovi? and some other
Is that what it was about? I didn't know.
No, because it's some people were posting stuff and talking about communications, how important it is now, Marlon. No, It's like there's so much stuff out there, and how do you decipher what is real and what is not? And what people don't understand sometimes is like I won't mention the name, but for example, somebody said, "Oh, I went out of lockdown to go get some things, some alcohol and stuff like that." Ha ha ha, whatever, right? And so everybody was saying ha ha ha, and I said, wait a minute, and Italy was already really bad. So I was saying, it's like, listen, you don't know what you're saying. You're actually enticing people to do what you're doing. I mean, if you want to do that, be quiet about it and don't make fun, because this is really a serious matter. Or people putting stuff out there which ends up being like, condoning like prejudice against hindi ka naman sure. So a lot of the Asians, for example, and Filipinos, because here in Europe, they can't really distinguish, Asians apart. So mukha kang chick. I have people calling me chang like that to me.
Oh,
they can't.
Serious.
They can't tell the difference. So a lot of even Filipinos have been beaten up sometimes, because that is the atmosphere. So one really has to be careful nowadays. So talk about reinventing. Anyway, what I'm doing now, aside from this and I'm so thankful to have this time with you. I'm actually putting up a project. It's a bit of a fundraiser, but it's called Corona Monologues for Women Under Quarantine, where we are getting some videos and texts from women all over the world and putting them together, which we'll put up on social media, and then we'll put it up when lockdown is over and do a theater piece with that, and hopefully also raise some funds from low-income female workers in the Philippines. So just watch out for that.
That's good. That's
So
good.
yeah,
Great.
doing something active, but at the same time, allowing yourself to not do anything. I think that's also important. We have to listen to ourselves. It's really this time, to block out that noise. We've been doing so much stuff, and I mean, what the fuck for? Sorry, what for? I mean, it's time to just go into ourselves as well and listen to ourselves. And,
Voices.
Find our inner light.
That is what I'm going to miss with this lockdown. Tapos na to, pero ang may panahon ka bangin yung mga bagay. Kasi pag dati, gawa ka lang nagawa wala ka panahon tibangin. So, yeah. So, that is how the topic, the question in our program now is, paano mo kakayanin, kinakaya itong pandemya. Maybe my follow-up question would be, paano, hindi kayo, no? Paano, ano bang may papayo nyo, paano kayanin? In the more general way, no? Paano kayanin itong pandemya sa karamihan ng tao? What can be a more general piece of advice you can give to our listeners? Kasi yun na nga, marami naman kaming balak at naiisip gawin, no? Pero meron bang mas magandang sistema paano patuloy at paano gawin ito para lumabas tayo dito ng ganun din o mas mabuti pa? Hindi tayo madurog nitong pa. Meron ko, ang hirap yata ng tanong ko.
I don't think we can actually come out of this ganun din. One thing.
That's for sure.
We are all in some sort of collective trauma, which I think we all have to acknowledge. And how do you get over trauma?
Yeah,
How do you
that's
get
true.
over trauma?
That's true. It's my problem with that advice kasi is that we're all coming from iba tayong tinatayuan, di ba? So any practical advice would reek of some privilege, or so it's hard to give a pragmatic advice. But that's what Celeste said, because there'll always be someone's pain who's greater than yours. Obviously, there's always someone's inconvenience that's greater than yours, and of course. And we all live in a spectrum, di ba? But yeah, I agree with Celeste. Parang it's hard. Hindi tayo sabay-sabay mag-isip kasi, di ba? We're dealing with our grief and our trauma. And but I think the starting point is that this is a global trauma. I mean, this is a global sakuna, di ba? This is something that in 9/11, when America, when the towers were bombed, that was the first time I felt as an adult to be insecure about the world, my world view. Pwede palang bombay ng Amerika, di ba? Di ba powerful sila? So it challenged some fundamental things in my mind. This time is the same, di ba? In fact, parang greater trauma, because inisip ko, saan ako tatakbo, di ba? Saan bansa ka pwedeng pumunta? Mamumundok ba? There's no safe place, di ba? So for the first time, we're all unsafe, di ba? And the acknowledgement of that fact first, na parang third world war ito, the way to think about it, diba? It's a world war. Kahapon I was jogging, and ang lagi mo naisip dito, parang, what if this lasts for more than 3 months or a year, diba? I mean, what happens? What if the virus just keeps on mutating? And so you start to think about these things, and you get into this dark place again, na parang, di ba yung gera it lasted for 3 years. I think World War II was that long, di ba? So we have to, hopefully we get to the same, all of us will hopefully we get to the same spot and see this for what it is, which is really a global catastrophe that we're all affected. And kahit nasaan ka nakatayo sa amphitheater na to, kahit ang bayad mo is pang orchestra or pang bleachers ka dun sa sa taas ng ang 5 piso yung bayad mo, pare-parehong tinamaan, di ba? So the only thing I can really advise is this. So ito pala, meron pala akong isa pala. You just have to realize, again, empathy, di ba? You have to realize that there's another person, okay? There's a separate person from you. And that person will reach your point of realization much later or much sooner. But you just have to be sensitive that there's another person. I mean, this is harking back to the man for others thing, di ba? Parang kailangan maintindihan mo na merong other talaga. Hindi lang ikaw, di ba? So the otherness of that of the other human being is critical to understand now, because we're all in the same boat, di ba? Isang unos, iba't ibang bangka lang, di ba? So you just have to realize that everyone is here, and everyone has every right to be mad or to cry, to whatever. So it's all okay, and as long as we stand by, we help who we can.
And as long as we don't impinge on somebody else's.
Sana wag naman. True.
I think it's important for us to also call out, no? If we see or we hear that, teka muna,
Oo.
Kasi,
We call out, yes.
One thing kasi right now, no, with social media and all of that, a lot of things are being passed on, and it's more inciting fear, and insecure ka na nga eh. You're already scared. You're already insecure. If what you're gonna pass on and you think it's haha or it's nagaginig ko or whatever, don't, because it's not doing any good unless it's a verified scientific whatever, etc. That's what you put on proper information, because this is how propaganda works. This is how before they only had speakers and whatever, but now we have this technology, and it's so dangerous because it can mobilize people's thoughts and feelings in a certain way without you even knowing it, that you're actually being carried to that.
Right. So more than advice, Ron, really, you have examples right here, no? So I think that's why I decided to ask that question, because they were talking about in the group chat yesterday that they are masters of reinvention, and I think Ron, me also, I think that's something we all got in PA for some reason.
Yep. Yeah, if I may know the TA, the theater training talaga, it trained you to be parang SM, ano yung ganon? You have to know everything and respond at any given time with any given variables of responses. Because when you're on stage and and the scripts are down, I mean, you have to be present. You have to be there. You just have to receive the action and react to it. And I mean, makita-kita lang sa curtain call, di ba? So theater was very.
There's take two.
Yeah. So it was a very valuable theater for me. TA was the haven and the best teacher I had in school, because essentially that's what it taught me. Na parang kumilos ka. Walang excuse to, you cannot react tomorrow. You have to react to now, because the moment is there and you have to fix it, di ba? I mean, hindi pumasok yung tilon.
I think also in terms of like trying to reinvent, because it's hard to project, okay, because we don't know. We have no idea. You can read all the hypotheses and all of these projections, etc. But who knows? So what do you do if you don't know? I think maybe it's just be present and act and react accordingly. And try to get the information. The information that is correct.
The right one.
Yeah. The right ones. Don't surround yourself with fanatic or information, because it really does affect you. And once you kind of like woven out the stuff that you want to listen to or whatever, then I think you just have to kind of like wait and see and go with the flow accordingly and allow yourself, because if you project too much into the future, how can you do that? Like, I work in tourism, no? I mean, I can project or whatever, but how do I know? I mean, the airlines don't even know how they're going to seat people. I mean, even leaving one seat in the middle is not enough for people to travel, and they're not going to do it because they're not going to make money out of it. So for me, it's inutile, futile.
Yeah.
Inutile.
So
European nga pala ito.
So I think just allow yourself, do some small projects that are doable, that are reachable, in a certain, way. But siguro not to project so much. Maybe projecting in the sense, I was telling you, maybe they should make more bidets. Here in Italy, they all have bidets. And all these things about toilet paper, for example. You know what bidets are?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Meron kami niya.
So all over the world, no, they're scrambling over toilet paper, and the Italians are like, "What is the thing with this toilet paper?" I mean, because we all have bidets. And I said, "Oh, maybe that next big thing, you know, manufacture bidets in the States and Australia where they don't have it." You know?
Yeah.
But who knows? Maybe this virus, you know, goes away, and nobody will want to buy bidets. So, hirap din, di ba?
All right, we have less than a minute.
So, we'd like to thank you bago maraming
Maraming salamat. Yes, maraming salamat.
Yeah,
Again.
Celeste and Marlon. So, parang
Thank you for having us. This was wonderful.
ulitin natin to, Joe.
Oh, we should.
Yeah, sure, yeah, grabe.
We should.
Yeah, as a Ricky rin, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
You can have more.
Yeah.
Why don't I host something like this, a Zoominar, no? Para meron tayo.
Yes, yes.
Like a TA reunion on Zoom, no?
Yeah,
So,
of course. Please.
yeah,
Yeah.
we'll do that. I'll do that. 100 na lang ang
I think you
kasya
have
sa
to do
Zoom.
a professional account, Zoom account.
Yes, I have already a Zoom. I think Ateneo should have one. Ateneo should have
But thank you so much. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you, Celeste.
You know, being part
Thank you,
of this.
Celeste. We miss you so much kayong dalawa.
All of you.
Yeah.
Bright light yan, Celeste. Bright light sa amin yan ng college namin. So, nice to see you again, Celeste. Leading light yan. Yeah, so,
Ikaw rin, Marlon.
take. Ay, hindi. Masungit ako ng college. Doon ako sa taas. Nagtatahila ako sa dressing room, di ba? Ganun lang yung trabaho ko doon.
But I will always love you, Marlon. You saw that light. Whatever light.
Oh
you're
gosh,
talking about,
Celeste.
whatever light,
We just kami nila Ender kasi kami nila mga thesis mates kami niyan. Thesis mates ako, si Celeste, si Ender, tsaka si Eric Cruz and si CP. Yes, yun ang aming thesis group nung college.
Meron? Ano nga ba ang meron? Paano nga bang mabuhay ng tapat sa meron? Don't you wish you can relive your philo classes? The terror teachers? The terrible oral exams? Or the even terrifying but liberating and life-changing aha moments? Lundagin Mo Beybeh! Here's your chance! Lundagin Mo Beybeh! Kasama ang mga pilosopong sina Jovi Miroy at Ron Capinding. Lundagin Mo Beybeh! Leaping upward, leaping forward. Lundagin Mo Beybeh! Leaping to greater heights, to greater wisdom, to greater magis. Lundagin